Richard Hooper and this is SatTV Week. I'm here on the Isle of Man where I'm pleased to be joined by Helmut Kessler, who is an Isle of Man space expert. Helmut, what's so special about the Isle of Man space sector?
Well, the Isle of Man itself is special as it is a very small nation, only about 80,000 people. And to have a world-leading space sector, the Isle of Man is up there in the sort of Premier League of space nations with an interest in space. So for a small nation like the Isle of Man to be up there is quite remarkable.
But what is it that's actually driving the space sector?
Well, originally it was driven by the initiative of Chris Stott and his initiative to set up ManSat and register satellite slots to the Isle of Man, and that in itself, with the backing of the government, has led to an entire space sector developing here. In other words, satellite companies moving over here. We've got satellite manufacturing, and around that the entire infrastructure developed. In other words, we've got law firms, we've got accountancy firms, and all those services that developed around it with people who are specialized in the space industry with its specific laws, legislations, and so on. And then obviously on top of that, we've also attracted not-for-profit organizations like the Space Data Association and the International Institute for Space Commerce, which is linked to the International Space University in Strasbourg.
Now, you mentioned it's not just about finance. The manufacturing side, now that's of interest. Is that growing?
The manufacturing sector is growing very strongly, both in space and aerospace. Both are usually taken together in some shape or form. And it is one of the success stories in the Isle of Man, which was best reflected recently by the Isle of Man Newspaper Awards for Excellence, where the Business Person of the Year was a member from the aerospace sector, and where the Chamber of Commerce Manufacturing Committee, that is very much looking after the space and aerospace sector, got the Freedom to Flourish Award.
The regulations here, it has a very, very strong regulatory regime. How important is that?
I think that is extremely important to have a strong regulatory regime, because it makes clear to everybody moving to the Isle of Man that this is not some kind of lawless area. It is an area of strict regulation where the rule of law persists. That is important when you've got very valuable assets like a satellite. We are on the OECD whitelist. We are known for the very strong regulations we've got in the space industry, and long may that persist, because I think it is one of the part of the basis on which only we can grow our success story.
Now, where do you see the next 24 months for the Isle of Man space sector?
Needless to say, we will see challenges over the next 24 months. We will face tax crackdowns in many of the big industrialized countries, which might or might not affect the Isle of Man. But as I already said, we are a well-regulated jurisdiction. So from my point of view, we probably don't have a lot to fear from these things. But it will not be easy, but I think we will maintain our unbroken record of economic growth over the next 24 months. If you look into our economy, our economy has grown virtually uninterrupted for longer than I can remember, probably longer than I've been on the island, and I think that record will be maintained. We are also going into this time of uncertainty with a very low unemployment. Our unemployment rate is only about 2%. So when you compare us to a lot of other countries in the world, we are still in a very fortunate position.
Helmut, thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.